Hello and welcome back to Leicester Fan TV. Locks here. Good morning, everyone. I hope you had a nice Friday night. It wasn't that long ago I spoke to you all, so it's only been, 13, 14 hours, something like that. Today, as you can see in the comment, in the thumbnail and also the title, it is named Rudkin and Whelan. What went wrong? Now, if anyone isn't familiar with these two people on your screen, Rudkin and Whelan. Rudkin is the director of football at Leicester City and has been for a long time. And Susan Whelan is, I believe, the chief exec or something like that, who came into the club under King Power. Wasn't already at the club before King Power, but did come in under King Power. And these two make big decisions at the football club. These two, John Rudkin is, director of football. We hear a lot about director of footballs these days. They make big decisions, footballing decisions, transfer, recruitment, all of that stuff. So they've played a big part in the downfall of Leicester City. Rudkin, I would say more so. And we're going to be talking a little bit about that. So please get your comments in down below. It's much appreciated. Like last night, we're going to talk about a lot of stuff. I'm interested to see what you guys think in the comments about what part they've played, Rudkin and Whelan, in the fall, the heavy fall of Leicester City in the last 12 months, should I say? So, get your comments in. Let's see what people are saying. Georgie says, why is that comment not coming up? There we go. Like every summer, Leicester will do nothing from now till mid-July. Everyone's gone on holiday. Don't expect any work being done. It's a good point there, Georgie. Obviously, people go on the holidays. We can appreciate that, I'm sure, as football fans. Like us, working 9 to 5, we like to go on holiday. But you'd hope, with what's happened at the football club so quickly, people will be on it, trying to work out what's next. Ash says Rudkin is a complete emoji, angry emoji, swearing emoji, I think. Yeah, I think a lot of people would agree with you there, Ash. Facebook user says Rudkin deserves much of the blame as anyone. If I performed that shocking at work, I'd have been sacked months ago. Derek says the under-21s and under-18s had a shocker of a season as well. Yeah. So let's start talking about Rudkin. I'm going to bring something up on screen now. Here we go. You should still be able to see me. So this is something that we actually did look at on the channel last Monday after the relegation, but I'm going to come back to it because again, it's obviously this is about Rudkin. I'll zoom in a little bit there for anybody with poor eyesight. So as you can see here, the reason was that while Rodgers had seemingly stopped believing in the club, Leicester's hierarchy still very much believed in him, especially director of football John Rudkin. Rudkin had worked hard to recruit Rodgers from Celtic, where he had led the Scottish Giants to an undefeated domestic season and back-to-back trebles. They had paid good compensation for Rodgers, and his staff then rewarded him with another lucrative contract 9 months later. Rodgers and Rudkin were close. The offices at Seagrave were next door to each other. They would communicate daily, and Rodgers knew that Chairman Kuntop relied on Rudkin for guidance on football matters. Rudkin is Leicester's ultimate decision maker. Their relationship was the reason Rodgers was afforded more influence around the club than any manager previously, particularly on other appointments. So Rudkin had an unwavering commitment to Rodgers' training methods, message, and playing philosophy, which were no longer effective with the same group of players. The alternative to bring in fresh players was not feasible. So this is The Athletic, by the way, Rob Tanner's article from about 4 or 5 days ago. So as we can see here, we're hearing now that the reason Rodgers was given so much time at Leicester, despite the awful performances and not really much progression, and also can we not forget the lack of desire, it seemed, from Brendan Rodgers to still be managing this football club. And the reason he was given so much time was because of Rudkin. It seems here, and I'm going to paraphrase this, it seems like they were mates. It seems to me like they were quite good mates. And, maybe something that played a big part in Rodgers staying was sentiment and was friendship between Rudkin and Brendan. So let me know what you think to that, what you've just read there. It'll be interesting to see what people make of that. Mike says, seems like Rudkin's been on holiday this whole time. Kenny says, one major mistake, given Brendan a 5-year deal. No manager worldwide has ever had a 5-year deal. King says, we need to adopt a City model in this team. Boho's here. Morning to you, Boho. Thanks for joining us. Much appreciated. Same with everyone in the chat. Keep getting your comments in. It's much appreciated. Yeah, so I mean, we in case anyone just missed it, obviously we've just been reading this article from Rob Tanner in The Athletic, just about how Brendan Rodgers has been given a lot more time than he really would have in any other case, because of John Rudkin, as we're seeing there, a Rodgers out message or a Rodgers out banner, which we saw many of times over the season. But yeah, again here, their faith in him was shaken by results, but not in his abilities generally. Yet it was felt a change was the only way to stop the rot at the moment. At that moment, there was a realization that things were going in one direction, and Leicester's slide had proven to be irreversible. The damage was done. And that's very important. I think we should all think about a little bit. By the time Rodgers was sacked, which was with 10 games to go, the damage was already done. Yeah? The damage was already done at the club. We were only heading one way, and that was the Championship. And I think most people in the comments and most Leicester fans will agree that Rodgers should have gone a lot sooner than he did. But we can't blame Rodgers for not leaving, because he's not going to sack himself. He's not going to resign when he can get a payout. The persons who fault it is are the board, are the decision makers. And from what we now know, Rudkin, Susan Whelan, Top, they're the ones who decided not to sack him earlier than he should have gone. And for me, obviously, along with the players, they're the reasons why we're now in the Championship. Nathan says, need to get rid of Rudkin. I would agree. ZZ1 says, morning, mate. Morning to you. You were here yesterday as well. So thanks for watching and being a part of the chat all the time. It's much appreciated. Nathan says, see how unhappy Rudkin was when we went 1-0 up against West Ham, the rat. Yeah, I mean, that's a clip that's going around quite a lot online this week. Obviously, we went 1-0 up against West Ham. The crowd, the players, Top, they all went absolute, it was a madness. But Rudkin was sat there like this. Didn't seem to care. Top, lovely guy, seems to be, it was his dad, Vishai, who was a successful businessman, not Top. Yeah. I mean, obviously, Top did sack Vishai. Top did sack Puel, should I say. Or Rudkin, they did sack Puel. But you can argue that was probably too late. Obviously, fortunately that year, unfortunately for Puel, we weren't in a relegation battle. Gray says, yes, Locks, how are you? I'm all good, mate. Gray, nice to see you in the chat. ZZ1, Brendan at fault for his substitutions and commitments, also his signings, but the players didn't really care. Some of them did. Wayne says, from a Fulham fan, I think that Leicester will find it very hard in the Championship next season if they lose their top players. I don't think we will. I've had a change of heart in the last few days. I think we're going to be fine. Let me have a think why I think we're going to be fine. We're going to bring in £100 million in player sales. Easy. Probably more. Maddison, Barnes, Samari, Daka. I've heard Daka's leaving. That's an exclusive for you. We're going to probably hit 100 million, and I think we probably only need to spend 40 or 50, and we'll be straight back up, as long as we bring in the right manager. I think Dean Smith probably we should keep with if we can't get Potter. So I think Potter, but that's unlikely. So if we can't get Potter, I think we've got to go Dean Smith. Damage was done when Rodgers signed that new contract. He thought he was untouchable. Rudkin made Rodgers feel as though he was a messiah. Yep. Matthew says owners and the board have to take the biggest percentage of the blame with the players and managers. The players and managers, the rest. Yeah, Rudkin and Whelan have not done their jobs for years. King Power is a duty-free company that was massively affected by COVID. Rudkin and Whelan are employed to stabilise the club financially and pull extra money in from other places and have failed massively, hence us not having the clear out we needed over a season ago. Andy, Andy, I agree with you completely, mate. I agree with you completely. I couldn't agree with you more. If it wasn't for Top, Vishai would never have brought Leicester and we would never have won the Premier League. Well, yeah, you know. Mike Rook says, would there be any financial reasons why Rudkin engineered relegation on purpose? If we'd stayed up, next season could have been even worse. You know what? Obviously, that is a conspiracy, and obviously it's not 99.99% not the case. However, what I will say to you is the rebuild of Leicester City Football Club, I can assure you, will be a lot easier in the Championship than in the Premier League. I can assure you that. Because we can afford now, this season, to get rid of our big hitters, our big money players, and then try and rebuild with players that, you know, probably aren't 100% ready for the Premier League just yet, maybe another year, but players that are good enough to get us up from the Championship. Whereas if we were in the Premier League and we were selling Maddison and obviously Tillerman's leaving and, you know, Mendy and Soyuncu, I think we'd struggle. I think we would really struggle next season in the Premier League. I think we need this reset. I think it's going to be a blessing in disguise. I really do. But, you know, it's all hindsight. We won't know now until next year. This time next year, we'll know whether we're going to be back up on the rise or really not in a very good place. Because we need to come up first time. And if we don't come up first time, I don't know when we will. I don't know when we will come back up if we don't come up first time. Leicester will have the most expensive transfer budget in the Championship. Top was forced into this earlier than expected, so I wouldn't put it down to naivety, maybe you mean. The fans being abusive to him is downright wrong. He and the family will want to finish Fishey's dream. Yeah, absolutely. Abuse is not needed at all, but criticism is needed, Gray. Criticism is needed, but no, not abuse. I think we should sign 7 players and loan in 1, depending on how many people leave. I mean, I think we'll definitely be looking at least 1 or 2 loans for sure. You need a hungry manager and the fans need to give them time to build a strong squad. Imran says, Whelan is not to blame. She does not deal with the football inside. This is all down to Rudkin. Well, Imran, that's correct. Rudkin is all on the football inside. However, who has secured loans against our Premier League TV money? Was that Whelan? Because if it is, that's a stupid thing to do. It's going to leave us in the shit. So if that was Whelan, that's one problem caused by her. I hope we keep Iverson fast and Nacho. Iverson's quality. Yeah, I mean, we spoke about Iverson last night, so check the video out. Paddy is very negative. I don't know if he's just, I think he probably supports another team. I don't know who. You've had your run, it's over. Leicester City aren't over. Our era is over, but we'll be back. Let's have a look what other people are saying. 70 million for Fofana. We spend 15 million on Fast. That was Prem. That was with Prem status money. Let's talk more about Rudkin and Whelan here, guys. Stephen Price, it's all to do with Rudkin and head of recruitment not accepting a bid for when they came in. So it's all Rudkin's fault. I've just seen an interesting comments from King Shady. We'll get over to that in just a minute, Kings. We need a core squad that owe the English game. Maybe the English game. We also need a refresh at the top with Whelan and Rudkin going. Now, that also brings me on to King Shady's comment, which is here. I still think we might need to give Rudkin a chance at least a year and a half until we have a backup plan, like bringing in someone like Ralph Ragnick to do our next direct. I mean, that would be. I don't think Ralph Ragnick will come in, but King Shady, yeah, I mean, I want to talk about Rudkin, obviously. I don't think he will be given... I don't think he will be sacked. I don't. I think he's pulled the wool over Top's eyes, and I think Top relies on him. It's a different story if this happened with Vishai, obviously still alive and still at the head of the club. But I think Rudkin might stay. I think Top relies on him far too much, and we're at a situation now where we need to plan and we need to go ahead for the next season. I don't think it's the time to sack a director of football. Whether I believe he should stay or not, I don't think he should stay, but I think Top will keep him. Hey Locks from Callum. Hi Callum, thanks for watching. Imran's here. Mate, I have to disagree with you about rebuilding when going down. Yes, we would have struggled next season in the Premier League, but relegation is not good for any team. Obviously, financially, relegation is not good for any team. But I just think it gives us a chance to now bring in a different caliber of players and rebuild this squad. Andy said relegation is not ideal, obviously, but a positive is we can now attack where we went wrong and not do these mistakes again. Andy says, which is spot on. That's what I mean, Imran. And more on that, I think it's just given us a reset. Yeah, Nathan says it as well, a reset button. I think, I could be wrong, and please feel free to tell me that I was wrong in a year's time. I think it might just be a blessing in disguise, this relegation. I really do. For the long-term health of the club. Because we are going to just reset. We're going to build this club from the bottom to the top now, right? We are. And, probably if we get promoted first time in July or August 2024, if we're back in the Premier League, you will see a completely different football club. I am certain of that. Wayne says, true fans stick by the team no matter what. Exactly, Wayne. Gray says, need to try keep Mendy, get Hamza back, a fit Will Alves and Braybrook. Gray, again, after this show, if you want to go back to the start of the week, Tuesday, Sam and Reedy did a show about sell, keep and all this, so you can watch that then. Time running out in this transfer window, much to do with so little time. The transfer window isn't even open yet, Andrew. It doesn't open for another 10 days or 2 weeks. 2 weeks, I think. So, no, there's no time running out. Alves had a horrible injury. Yes, he did. I hope Top has someone in his ear about what his father would have done with Rudkin. Yep, there's that comment about Andy from Andy that I spoke about relegation. I hope so. We need to start well. Momentum is everything in the Championship. Yeah, I mean, look at Sunderland. What happened to them when they got relegated? They went down. Great documentary, by the way, if you want to watch some football related. But yeah, keep getting your comments in on these pair. I mean, look, I think it's harsh probably to speak too much on Whelan, if I'm honest. Whelan is part of the King Power group, doesn't really make any footballing decisions, but it's the footballing decisions that have proven costly for us this year, and that is all on Rudkin for me. King Shady says, thank God we still have the ladies performing, because without them there wouldn't be much to celebrate about this year. Any news on the manager yet? No, Wayne, no news on the manager yet. I'm sure Rudkin is working hard on that. We're hearing Ranieri, we're hearing Pearson, we're hearing Scott Parker, Dean Smith, obviously. Graham Potter, I can't see it. I can't see Graham Potter. Surely he's not coming. Surely he's not coming. Thanks for not actually swearing, Gray. Thanks for putting the signs there. But Mike says a reset would be great. Given Rudkin the reset button means we may just keep going the same way. Let's carry on talking about Rudkin. I have got a message up somewhere here. Another bit of the article. Where is it? Let me find it. Where are we? This one is regarding Johnny Evans. He spoke after the relegation last weekend. I think it's here. So if I bring that up, This one's from the Leicester Mercury or Leicestershire Live. So he says, I've loved my time here. It's been an amazing 5 years. I said this to the boys inside. The club have decisions to make, and I don't think it's time for that now. They probably don't know what they're going to do. So Johnny Evans says, I had a brief chat with Director of Football John Rudkin, and I understand the club are in limbo. I'm sure they'll make the right decisions, and for everyone involved, I hope the club can get back to where we all feel it should be. I've said it before, it's a fantastic club, and I believe they will be back. So there's another person, Johnny Evans, mentioning John Rudkin. From that, I read there that John Rudkin has probably said himself the club is in limbo. I mean, he does say, I've had a brief chat with John Rudkin, and I understand the club are in limbo. So, you know, we are in limbo because we don't know who's going to be here. We don't know who's not going to be here. We don't know what staff are going to be here, what manager we don't even know who's going to be here. And again, this is all on Rudkin. This Rudkin guy, man, I mean, he went under the radar a little bit when we were playing well, when we were doing well, winning the Premier League and the FA Cup and finishing 5th twice. But now things have tumbled down. The house of cards have fallen. Things are starting to come out. And we did say, just going back to Mike's comment here, Mike says a reset would be great. Giving Rudkin the reset button means we may just keep going the same way. I'm going to bring something up on screen in just a second. Here we go. Here it is. So that's the Johnny Evans one. The Rudkin-led recruitment strategy to replace 7 out of contract players and those who will inevitably be sold off to help finance the project. Almost certainly, including James Maddison, has to be spot on after 2 poor summers. So we're seeing here, guys, the Rudkin recruitment strategy to replace the 7 out of contract players and James Maddison. So John Rudkin will be heading this recruitment drive, it seems. That's how I'm reading it. That's how it seems in multiple quotes, multiple articles from journalists, who know the club so well. It sounds like John Rudkin will be heading this recruitment drive. And please, please, please tell me, do you trust us to bring in the right players with Rudkin at the helm? I want to know. And I think this is why it's so important that we bring in a new manager or at least confirm Dean Smith as soon as possible, because, we need a manager to bring in the players for how he wants to play football, how he wants to get us promoted. And we don't want Rudkin, who's not the manager, to be making these signings. Tete has gone back to his permanent club. To be honest, I was disappointed with him, but not many players played him in. He had a great debut against Villa, then just disappeared. Stephen Price says, just wish Rudkin keep to what we normally do, sell a big player for top money and get players in who we find like we normally do and make them into a top star. Derek says there needs to be an early appointment of a permanent manager, then early transfer business. No, not late again. I would agree. Just for his face, Rudkin needs to be sacked. Let's not try and be too mean. His face in that picture isn't great, is it? Apoku still has to stay at OH Leuven due to permit. Oh, great. That's not good news. Locks, who would you have as manager? I want Potter. Graham Potter to lead a rebuild. However, I don't think we'll get him, so I think we stick with Dean Smith. The only other person I wouldn't mind seeing is Carlos Corberan from West Brom. He's been given nothing at West Brom, let's be honest. Nothing. But I wouldn't mind seeing him. I wouldn't mind seeing him at Leicester. Can you name a player that is worth less now than what we signed them for, apart from Vestergaard? Tillemans. 40 million. He's gone for free. There you go. There's one. Ricardo Pereira. How much did he go for? How much did we sign him for? Whatever it is, he's worth less now, that's for sure. Bubakari Samari. Worth less, definitely. Patson Daka, probably worth less. Do you want me to go on? Woot Fast, probably worth less. So there's a few for you right there. Bertrand, yeah. People always laugh at me, but Benitez isn't a bad option. I don't think so either, but I would prefer Dean Smith just because he knows the players, he knows what's happening at the club. I personally think Rudkin is the cancer of the club, but Top holds him in high regard apparently. A manager decision needs to be made so they can decide who comes in. Hope the Maddison situation is sorted out ASAP and not drag out until the end of the transfer window. Boho says one of our big problems is now the Leicester strategy of buying and selling. Not now too many teams have overtaken us in the recruitment game. Yeah. I would agree with you there. I would agree with you, Boho. Absolutely. We have been overtaken, not just off the pitch, but on the pitch. We've been overtaken in a very quick space of time, right? Brighton, Villa, Fulham, Brentford, they've all overtaken us. Forest, probably. They've all overtaken us in such a short amount of time. Yeah, I mean, if he gets our former scouting team back, I think that ship sailed. Rodgers lost them, unfortunately. Puel for manager, that's an interesting shout. Not seen that one so far. Madders will be gone early as we want the money in quickly. Yeah, I would agree, but isn't he on? He's been called up to the England squad, Maddison. So that might delay things if he's away. Got to remember that. That might delay things. It might push things back and it might just make things a little bit longer than we want it to be. I mean, if we're going to sell Maddison, I want him gone now. I want him gone in the next 2 weeks before the transfer window opens. Stephen said, I'll take Potter, or do we gamble like Burnley did and go for Ruud van Nistelrooy to get us up like Vincent Kompany did with Burnley? It's an interesting one. Again, this isn't a manager chat, but it is an interesting comment. I hope the club take the Championship seriously and don't treat it like some 1 year experience and be arrogant thinking we're going up first time. I mean, look, we're favourites to go up. We're favourites for first place. About 4-1 or something. Southampton are 5-1. I don't like that at all. We're Leicester City. We're the underdogs. I do not like being favourites or odds on to win. I mean, even when we went up and when we won the Championship, we weren't favourites, were we? Someone let me know in the comments. Please remind me. I believe Burnley were favourites or QPR were favourites that season. Because didn't QPR just get relegated? And then didn't QPR get relegated? So they were favourites to come straight back up? Let me know in the comments. I think it was QPR and Burnley, though, wasn't it? That were like the best that year. But we weren't favourites. Nathan says Burnley. Burnley were favourites, apparently. So I don't like being favourites. We're Leicester. We like an underdog story. James Kane says, whether you give Rudders any credit during our success, arguably Walsh Senior, Masia, as if not important, the catalogue of fails more than outweighs this. Yeah, it does, absolutely. Alex Scott been brilliant and can't see him joining us. Yeah, exactly. I would agree. But anyway, we're getting on to other topics now, so we don't want to do that. But look, here at Leicester Fan TV all week, we've been doing shows dedicated to this season, reviewing what's gone on, what's happened. We started off on Monday morning, where we just did an initial reaction to relegation. And then also on Monday was a show with Phil and Tom. Tuesday, we saw on Monday night as well, we saw Phil talking about the new managers, so check that out. Tuesday, we saw Reedy and Sam talking about what players we should keep or sell. Tuesday evening, I spoke about Brendan Rodgers. Wednesday, I can't remember. Yesterday, we spoke about defensive chaos, and today we're speaking about Rudkin. So we've done a lot of content, and we're just trying to break down what's happened this season. It's been a tough year. It's such a sad time for Leicester supporters at the minute. But I think now that we've finished reviewing the season and talking about different aspects, we're going to probably start to look forward. Jamie has his show on tomorrow morning. So he'll be talking, I'm sure, about the season as well and relegation, because he's not had a show since we were relegated. But after that, I think we're going to look forward. We can't keep looking back. We've got to look forward. We're going to have loads of shows and content about what players we should sign. We'll have breaking news when the manager's announced. We're going to have a lot. So keep your eyes peeled. Last few comments here. Peter says, stick with Dean, Shaky and Terry. They have settled in and know the championship. Do you think Liverpool and Spurs pre-season will be bad for our confidence? I think that's going to be cancelled, if I'm honest. Again, that's another one. Let's get this up on screen, guys. While we're talking about Rudkin and Whelan, who made this decision? Who made the decision for this? 30th of July, Leicester City are playing Liverpool. And just in case nobody knew, the championship season starts on the 4th of August. So 6 days after we're playing Liverpool in Singapore, we then face probably Plymouth or someone on the 4th of August. I mean, you know, it's shocking. We also have this as well. Oh, no, that's the same one. We also played Tottenham as well a few days earlier, which is interesting. So, yeah, I mean, look, I know somebody says that was done last year, but surely it would have been cancelled, you know, in the last few months when they saw how bad we've been. I'm surprised they even want us there. Whoever's hosted this, I don't know who it is. Let me see if I can figure it out. Singapore, I can't quite read that. Standard Chartered, is it them? Who's even? It should have been cancelled. As Wayne says here, not a chance. Has to be cancelled or send the under-21s. Yeah, it's a good shout. Send the under-21s. Let our starting 11 or first squad play Dundee United or bloody Cardiff City. Teams like that. The pre-seasons we used to have when we were in the Championship. Play teams around us, not teams that we'll probably face once in the FA Cup or the League Cup in a year. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, I suppose we're taking a lot of money. It might not be ideal for prep, but I guess it may help in the long run. I don't think so. I think that needs to be cancelled ASAP. Send the women's team. Leicester women's versus Liverpool men's team, and it would end up probably like that last night. I don't know if you saw it a couple nights ago. Wrexham's men's team played the US women's national team, and it ended 12-0. So it might end like that. But yeah, something's going to have to happen with that. But yeah, that's pretty much it now, guys. So obviously, as always, thanks for watching. It's much appreciated for joining. It was just a quick one today. Just getting people's comments in. That's what we're all about at Leicester Fan TV. Seeing, yeah, I know, don't cancel myself. I did try and stop myself there, Leo. But yeah, just getting comments up on screen. Look, that's our role here, I suppose. We want to get people's Leicester fans' comments out there, and that's what we try to do as much as possible. So, if you can you all do me a favor, please? Can I ask a favor? Just one favor. A lot of you probably aren't subscribed to the channel. So all I'm asking is, if you're watching on YouTube, scroll literally a couple scrolls down and just hit the subscribe button. It would be much appreciated. I don't want to beg, but I know that some people aren't subscribed. So if you can, it would be much appreciated, and make sure to be back here tomorrow morning for Jamie's famous Aftermath show. Cheers all.
Thanks for watching Leicester Fan TV. Thanks to our sponsors, ADT Taxis, Everard's, Pucka Pies, Pink Car Leasing, Leicester Riders, Hologram, The Fox's Arms, Peter's Pizzeria, Hope Against Cancer, and Newbie & Co. Estate Agents. Make sure to follow us on all of our social channels at Leicester Fan TV. Visit our website, leicesterfantv.com.